I've been kind of more leaning on the bearish side fundamentally, but technically I've been unable to really find anything to justify that. Especially, you look at the 4 hour chart, it's just as Marco pulled it up, and it was like it's just so very clearly buyers are just supporting this market consistently. It's very hard even and this is the challenge of when you mix fundamentals and technicals. I would not be a buyer personally because I'm a little bit hesitant on the fundamental side. The dollar strength is for a lot of reasons that would put pressure on gold, and then at the same time, you know the price action for me to actually get short is not there. I want to take a quick look at the smart money tracker in case you missed some of this coverage earlier in the week. We'll talk now a little bit about the positioning of institutional money, because again, a lot of people are wondering, out of all of this, what are big players doing? What are hedge funds and banks doing? Are they buying oil? Are they buying gold? What is kind of their positioning? And what you can see here is that on the screen now, this is the COT net institutional positioning. We can very quickly track what institutional money is long and what they are short. So very clearly, the more red, the more short they are. The more blue, the more long they are on a net positioning standpoint. So the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, the CAD, those are our three biggest sells currently. And then on the long position side, the US dollar, oil, and the Nikkei. Okay, so what do we do with that information? Well, again, these are the pros. And if the pros are buying something or shorting something, usually I try and be aligned with them, not going against them. Not always, but of course, in often enough. Okay, on top of that though, the other thing to pay attention to with COT data is the latest filing. Because if you can take a look at how these numbers up top are changing week to week, that can be very powerful stuff. And in fact, we pay more attention to this table down here than we do the above one. The NASDAQ saw a nice increase, which has been why I've been pretty bullish on the NASDAQ, but I've paused recently because price action kind of fell apart on me. I'll show you the NASDAQ really quick. All right, so we take a look at NAS 100.
Did you know our market scanning software, the EDGEFINDER, just got even better? Check out our newest asset, Bitcoin. That's right, Bitcoin was our most requested feature update, and we're so excited to announce Bitcoin is finally here with plans to add even more crypto in the future. We've also updated our most popular feature, the Smart Money Tracker, adding even more data than before. The EDGEFINDER not only automatically scores 8 different metrics for each asset to give it an overall buy, sell, or neutral score, but it also keeps track of bank and analyst positioning, stores historical fundamental data, shows how assets are trending throughout the day, and so much more. Right now, our YouTube viewers can get the EDGEFINDER at a discounted price when they use promo code A1YT. You can check out the EDGEFINDER with the link down in the description below, and again, get it for the special discounted price when you use promo code A1YT at checkout.
Price is hitting a support level, and like I mentioned, I might be interested in trying this level out, but I'll have to take a closer look at that in a moment. But NASDAQ looks supported overall. US dollar still looks supported. We've stayed bullish on the dollar for that reason, right? USD bullish because institutional money seems to be still bullish. Oil, same thing, a nice increase in demand for oil from institutional money. And I'm referencing this far right-hand column. For those of you guys who have EDGEFINDER, always check this net change column. It basically just calculates and summarizes all of this data here week to week for you. So it gives you the week to week net change. It's very, very useful bit of information there. So you take a look at gold here. And this is why I think, gold has had a really big boost this week with everything going on in terms of the crisis in Israel and Palestine. But I think that in terms of just purely that kind of has been a knee-jerk reaction to buy gold dramatically, and I don't necessarily think it's a massive game-changing effect that will go into place, but I could be wrong about that. So I don't have any trades on gold. I'll take a look at gold for us here together as we get going. I think this is important to continue to cover, even though I don't have any trades on gold. I know a lot of you guys are interested in gold, so I'll do my best to kind of give you a quick run through or breakdown on how this one has been trading. So gold, in terms of week-to-week COT data, what we can see here is that there was a big decline in overall positioning, right? A lot of short pressure came into the gold market, which I think is interesting when you cross-reference it to the US dollar, and you can see 2.08% increase in dollar bullishness. So there's a pretty clear distinction there. Okay. We're coming into some labor statistics stuff here this morning. So let me see if I can show you guys some stuff. Again, we've got claims coming out. Actually, let me not miss it. I've been missing news. We're coming in breaking news right now. So let's see. So we've got claims coming out in just a second here. I almost missed it here today, guys. And let's see if we do get anything interesting. Gold ticked lower here for just a brief moment. Look at the dollar index. Dollar index slightly down. Nothing dramatic right now. Let's just double check. Okay, so we got 198,000 showing job strength, right? Lower than expected, shows less people filing for unemployment. Less people filing for unemployment, strong for the US economy, and vice versa, the representation of the US economy, the US dollar.
I am in a trade at the moment. I'm shorting Aussie dollar from this level up here. I'm actually looking for quite a big swing trade. I've made a recent tweak in my management. I'm looking to try and push my trades a little bit further than usual, so I'm going to experiment, see how that goes. But I'm looking at price coming back down to that low, which I've talked about a few times coming onto the stream. But yeah, we've got a nice trend, as Marco mentioned. We're seeing some nice momentum picking up as well. Hasn't really broken through the lows yet. I'm still waiting for that to happen, but I'm looking for us to come all the way back down to that low. I would say that's probably the only dollar pair I'm looking at the moment. I do like NZD, some nice momentum as well, but that one's not quite ready for me yet. I still need to see some lower lows and some lower highs and some pullbacks for me to be interested, but probably for next week, I think this one will make its way to my watch list. Still looking at push down to that low there as well. So I do still see a lot more downside for NZD. I quite actually like the Aussie currency. I feel like it's got a lot more weakness to it. So EUR/AUD, I quite like the buys for this one. I'm starting to pick up with some higher highs and some higher lows. So we've got a lovely low down there, high, low, and the market's creating some new highs. So I'm waiting for another pullback for this one. Keep looking to buy it to the upside and possible targets coming back to some of these areas and maybe eventually the high there as well. So I like EUR/AUD. I did miss some Aussie Swiss shorts earlier this week because I was trading Aussie dollar, but again, I do feel like this one's got some more downside into the prior low. Just looking at the higher time frame trend, just basically continuing back to the low there. So I still think there's room to the downside. Hence, if I can find some good quality shorts, although I'm not too sure where I would short from. I do like the consolidation up there, but I need a bit more confidence. But I'm keeping an eye for some shorts there too. So focus is kind of shorting Aussie at the moment, but yeah, I'm still bullish on the dollar currency as well. So I'll keep.
So what do you mean? I'm sorry. So on Aussie CHF, what do you mean when you say you need more confirmation, for example, to short it?
Yeah, basically the way I trade based on a number of confluences. So for this example here, we've got a nice area of supply, which is where this momentum's come from. So that's one confluence in my book. But I also look at trend lines. I also look at Fibonacci. And coming into the week, I did have a setup over here. So I was looking at this trend line here, but we just missed that trend line confluence. So I wasn't keen on shorting Aussie dollar, but with AUD, we did get a test of a trend line connecting these dots. So that's why I was focusing on that opportunity. But this one, we quite missed it. So I'm looking at possibly price coming back into this area here. If it can grab the trend line, nice. But if it doesn't, then it won't be a trade for me. But yeah, in terms of confluences, I look at Fibonacci, trend lines, and support resistance. So I need them to stack up for me to actually take a trade.
So you would be happy to take possibly a sell limit at this level where you marked the box, or would you like to see a bit more bearish momentum and then take a retest?
No, I would. If price was to get there, I would look to short buy. I take my trades on candlestick patterns, so bearish engulfs, bullish engulfs. So I don't set limits, but if I see a nice indication that momentum is turning, bearish engulfing is 90% of my entry triggers, then yeah, I would take a trade.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. I also wanted to ask, in terms of gold, Marco, I know you're not a gold trader, but I always like to just for the audience, they love their gold analysis. Do you want to just kind of mark up what you see on gold right now? I know it's a very
Yeah,
hot
sure.
market, of course, with with so much volatility, it's been moving quite a bit.
Oh, it looks very nice. Looks very strong to the upside. So as a trend trader, I do really like this sort of price action. I do really like these legs with clean closes on the tops of the candles. So that's something that I would consider being a buyer. But now at the top, it's possibly starting to slow down a bit, seeing a bit of a smaller candles and seeing a bit of a range here, so a bit of indecision right here. Also, we had a pause as well. So yeah, I would wait for the momentum to kick back in personally. I would wait for another large leg as a confirmation, and then it would definitely be a buyer in this market because this trend is really strong, really long, and there is definitely some opportunity. I do even see a flag formation, which I do like to take. So this would be the flag. First high, first low, second high, second low, and then this blue candle would be the entry. So yeah, I may start trading gold. It looks good, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean it's moving really well right now, and that's why I asked you about it. Miko, what do you think? I mean, gold as a trend trader, has it gone too far to join, or do you think there's some opportunity there?
I think there is some opportunity. At the moment, I would be a bit hesitant jumping into gold because it is coming back to some levels on the daily chart here. So I would be a buyer of gold based on the price action here. We've kind of seen this big kind of reversal type pattern, the V-shaped pattern here, the big impulse down, a big impulse back up on the daily chart, which usually means market's ready to continue moving higher. So I do think there's a good chance gold can make it to 1980, which is this high here. So I do think there's upside to be had, but at the moment, it doesn't really make too much sense for me as a swing trader to look to try and swing anything at the moment for gold trading in these areas, especially with yesterday's daily candle, big wick to the upside, and it failed to break through. But if we can pull back to some of these areas, possibly there could be some nice longs here. If we come back, retest some of these areas, that would be of consideration, although the level is just a little bit close for me, so I probably wouldn't consider it myself. But I do have a bullish bias on gold at the moment. Everything is steaming to the upside and doesn't really look like we're slowing down anytime soon at the moment. So
yeah, no, it's I made a mention before you guys came on just about gold and how you can see the price action kind of forming bullish. It's really made a really impressive reversal in terms of strictly price action. I mentioned, however, I've been kind of more leaning on the bearish side fundamentally, but technically I've been unable to really find anything to justify that. Especially, you look at the 4-hour chart, it's just, as Marco pulled it up, and it was like, it's just so very clearly buyers are just supporting this market consistently. It's very hard even, and this is the challenge of when you mix fundamentals and technicals. I would not be a buyer personally because I'm a little bit hesitant on the fundamental side. The dollar strength is for a lot of reasons that would put pressure on gold. And then at the same time, the price action for me to actually get short is not there. So I can't really take a trade. I have like mixed sentiment. It's like one thing for me is up and one thing for me is, I'm sorry, it's the other way around, down and up, right? So I'm getting mixed signals. And the thing is, sometimes people, with all of our systems, whether it's Miko, Marco, myself, we all have like our checks and balances for trades that we need to take. And sometimes your checks are not going with your balances, or your balances aren't going with your checks. You're going to get some mixed signals, and that can be a little bit frustrating. But at the same time, I think it is just important to kind of stick to your system. And if you have a reason to enter, you do. And if you don't, you don't. And so I haven't taken any shorts. So even though my fundamental bias has been pretty bearish, the technicals have kept me out of being on a bad short trade. So it's been kind of cool just to see. You could look at it two ways. You could say, oh, I missed it. Or you could say, well, I stayed out of trades I shouldn't have been in. So just thought that was kind of a useful tidbit to add to add to the stream. What, Marco, do you have anything to add to that? Do you ever have
Yeah.
situations where you get kind of some things pointing bullish, some things pointing bearish?
So, well, I look at only price actions. So actually, it's just up or down or sideways. But I wanted to ask you: is that a like an often occurrence where you get technical analysis saying it will go down, but fundamental saying it will go up? So does that happen often?
It actually does very often. But the other thing is, for me, I have a very wide net. So I have a lot of things that I trade. So I'll trade anything from oil to gold to indices to currencies to yen crosses, dollar crosses. I'll trade them all if I'm actually getting the confirmation from both, which is, I guess, the entire point of like the software that our teams built. Its goal is to find those lineups that are actually already kind of lined up. Like we're getting a nice fundamental read from all the economic data, and at the same time we've got trends, seasonality, other factors that are contributing. But again, that's just, you know, a system that we've built. That's the way we approach the markets, and each one of us have those things, you know, whether it's you know, you check multiple time frames, whether it's you're already in X number of dollar crosses already and you don't want to add another one. There's all sorts of different things that could keep you or hold you out of a trade or get you into a trade. So just thought it was an interesting topic. It can be sometimes frustrating for traders. They get some signals that are bullish, some that are bearish, and they aren't sure what to do. I think the end result is patience is really important. You've got to wait for the right setups and be there to catch them when they're there. So
yeah, most people force to trade, and then over the long run they lose a lot of money. So
yes,
to be patient.
Exactly right.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EDGEFINDER, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.